Keith Thurman seems to be in complete denial after his stoppage loss to Sebastian Fundora, saying that the referee shouldn't be refereeing in big main events ever again. Saying that the fight was only just getting interesting. He was saying that, possibly in another 2 rounds or so, if he had another 6 minutes, then something could have been landed. He was saying he saw holes in Fundora's game, which were there to be capitalized on. That might have been true, but the referee was right to stop the fight. Very right to stop the fight. He saved Thurman off of the absolute beating there. Thurman did say, referee told him before the fight, show me something. But yes, he was moving his feet, but there was absolutely nothing coming back from Thurman whatsoever. There was nothing coming back from him. It was right to stop the fight. And, look, I like Keith Thurman. I wanted him to win the fight. But yeah, the reach, the height advantage, he had everything against him. Got to him there, and Fundora's teeing off on him. His face was an absolute bloody mess. You can't look at his face and think, oh yeah, he was definitely in good condition to carry on. No, he was not. The doctor probably would have eventually stepped in and stopped the fight anyway. And Thurman saying that, it was the fight was just getting fun. The fight was just getting interesting. It wasn't a fun fight to watch. We were seeing a legend in Keith Thurman get absolutely beat down by a younger guy who shouldn't be in the weight class, way too tall for the weight division, and it wasn't a fun fight at all. Thurman lost every single round. Didn't even come close to winning a round in the fight. For the reasons of him being inactive, the reasons that he was fighting a guy who shouldn't be in the division. And yeah, his face was an absolute state. It was an absolute mess. He was getting beat down, getting picked off at range, couldn't get in there, was having to leap in order to try and get success. But Fundora was good at catching him coming out anyway as well. He was never going to win the fight. He was never going to win the fight, especially at this point in his career, 37 years old, going up against a guy who's a foot taller than him. He was never going to win at the end of the day. Prime Thurman might have done something else there, but this is 37-year-old inactive Keith Thurman. It's very different. And I feel like, he seemed in denial. I don't know if he's going to watch it back and think otherwise. I don't know. He clearly still hasn't accepted the fact he lost to Manny, and I don't know. He might. It seems like he might just have a way out of trying to talk his way out of this defeat to Fundora, saying it never should have been stopped and that he would have came back into it anyway, which he never would have. I mean, he never would have. People might think he would have, but I don't see how. In what way was that fight going that Thurman could have got Thunder out today? We got absolutely nowhere near it. Absolutely nowhere near him. And with the brain, with the boxing brain of Thurman, yeah, he probably did realize a load of flaws that we couldn't. He probably did. He's very experienced. He's been around. He's fought the best guys, and that's the thing you need to give Thurman credit for. He's never ducked anyone. But reality is, he's 37. It was the right stoppage because he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't landing anything. He did nothing significant whatsoever in the fight. Yes, his footwork was good, but that's the only thing he could do. That is the only thing he could do in that fight, is move his feet, because the range is too much. And look, I want to see Thurman fight again. I feel like he has got something left. It's just that, the height advantage, the reach advantage was way too much. And Fundora shouldn't be in the super welterweight division. Simple as that. I think Thurman's got fight left in him. His footwork was still good. His legs were still under him. Yes. But it doesn't change the fact that it was the right stoppage, because he was getting his head knocked back. He was getting completely outboxed. He couldn't get anywhere near Fundora. And the referee saved him from something that could have gone a lot worse. And let's be honest, I didn't want to see Keith Thurman keep on getting beaten up like that and just pieced up, picked apart, not being able to get any success whatsoever in the fight. I didn't want to see it go on. And I feel like many other boxing fans would say and even, the biggest Keith Thurman hardcore fans out there would say, no, you know, you don't want to see him getting beaten up like that, pieced up like that. Um, it was right to be stopped. It was right to be stopped. The referee was checking on, sorry, the doctor was even checking on Keith Thurman before the round started. Look, he said after the fight he didn't have any broken orbital bones or anything like that, which is good. Either way, though, look, again, it was his reaction straight after, being there. He probably hadn't watched it back when, he was saying what he was saying after the fight. But either way, do we see him coming out and changing his mind saying, oh, yeah, it was the right stoppage? No, I feel like he is going to be in denial. I feel like he is still in denial about the Manny Pacquiao defeat. I feel like he's going to, come out and find ways to, keep his stock going, which, fair play. I hope he does after this fight. And by, keeping on saying it is an early stoppage and he would have found a way back in. But he knows deep down he wouldn't. So, this is, I think, completely different to that Manny Pacquiao fight. There was no way he was ever going to win the fight. There was no chance of him getting anywhere near it. He had 6 rounds. What else would he have done? Fundora showed no signs of slowing down. Thurman even said that after the fight. Fundora showed no signs of slowing down, really. He said his conditioning was good, but he still backed himself to get him. But again, it's like, there's no chance he would have. There was no chance he would have. Fundora's reach was too much. And, you can't make fun of Thurman for the performance. You can't at all. The fight was unfair at the end of the day. Height advantage wise, reach advantage wise. It's just something you don't see in the super welterweight division. It's not something you should see. The tallest fighter, the tallest world champion in boxing shouldn't be fighting at super welterweight. That tells you what you need to know. But I feel like it's clear from Thurman, slagging off the referee after the fight. He saved him there. And I feel like it's Keith Thurman in denial about it.